Na, sziasztok! Ismét egy kis NBA 2K. Van, akartam mondom, azt hittem, hogy nem mentette el. Kicsit érdekes. Azt mondja, egy jump shot játékban még ugró dobás, matchmaking kick, basket and two paint. Fejezd be a játékot C pluszos minősítésbe.
All eyes are on the Eastern Conference in this game as the New York Knicks play this one at home. The Pacers will play just this one game on the road before returning back to Indiana. It has not been an easy November for this team, dropping 5 games and with only 1 win here early in the season.
Looking at Indiana, I mean, they've had a heck of a time of it from day one this season. I mean, it's still way too early to start writing their obituary, but they have struggled.
Well, they have, Clark, and you're right, this season is so long that there's plenty of time to turn things around, but now would be a pretty good time to start.
And now, the opening lineup for Indiana, courtesy of State Farm. Granger, Hansbrough, and Hibbert are the front court. Allison is out there with Jones. And for New York, Mello and Amari at the forward slots. Billups and Fields pairing up in the backcourt. And it's Turioff in at the 5, roaming the paint.
Well, the Pacers handled themselves pretty well against the Eastern Conference last season, 28 and 24. And they seem to be a team on the rise. They've got a lot of young talent. And having made the playoffs last season, they're hoping for more this year.
And so off the tip, it's New York. Here's Billups. 23 points his last outing. Picked up by Collison. Stoudemire backing him down. Out to Anthony for 3. And the rebound goes to the Pacers. And for the Pacers last season, finishing 4 games under 500, but they are an ascending ball club as they made the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, they're building it the right way, too. Larry Bird and David Morway putting some pieces together. A nice core group of young, hard-working, talented players. Now you just have some salary cap room there. Perhaps you can add a piece or two to elevate your talent base and your experience level. Being patient, not taking shortcuts. They're headed in the right direction.
Good place to play.
Yeah.
Here's Anthony. He had a 30-point outing their last game against Atlanta. Takes it right up. Goes back up. Hibbert pulls it in.
Terrific defense at the rim. They got right in his path.
You know, that's part of what great defenders do. They get not only in your path, but in your head a little bit, too.
Let's catch up with Doris from the sideline.
Guys, I spoke with the head coach of the Pacers. He said that they will be focusing a lot of their defensive effort into slowing down Carmelo Anthony. I asked him for specifics, and he said, Melo is such a dynamic player, there really isn't any single thing we'll do that will be the answer. Instead, we're just going to throw everything we have at him and see how he handles it. Guys.
Thanks again, Doris. Here is Collison. Coming off a solid outing against Phoenix.
You know, I think in Tony Douglas, the Knicks got a great find in the 2009 draft. He was the 29th pick. Pretty gutty defender, but a terrific scorer.
Now, here's Collison. 6 to shoot. Now Granger. The feather touch on the finger roll. Beautiful. Granger's got his second bucket. We're talking about Tony Douglas on a Florida State combo guard, Steve, and he's not a great playmaker yet, but he does do a great job of limiting his turnovers.
Well, he understands his limitations as a point guard, but he really focuses on his outside shot offensively. He's shooting about 38% from long range for his career, and a guy who can get extremely hot pretty much any time. Very streaky shooter.
Now here's Stoudemire, following the shot by Roy Hibbert. Fields dishes to Billups. From the arc, gets it to go.
He's a gunslinger, isn't he? He'll fire that three anytime, anywhere.
Granger left side. Here's George. And he can't answer back. The three-pointer offline. Outside Billups. Outside Anthony. Shoots. Hibbert pulls it in. Hibbert's got 3 rebounds now in this one.
This is really ugly, guys. I mean, he can't get anything to go.
Granger outside. Right side, Collison. And he drops in the layup off the glass. 29 seconds left here in the first quarter. Outside, Billups. Fields against George. Outside, Billups. Douglas. And yes, a nice assist from Billups. Billups has got 4 assists in the game. And stolen by Billups. The steal. Oh, we've seen some great shots in the first quarter. No shortage of offense. Knicks out front, leading by 4.
And I'm just so impressed with the long range.
All right, the second quarter beginning in just a moment. And we've reached halftime in this one. Knicks lead by 10.
Your next 36.
The night is young, and we've got the NBA. Nope. Out of Time Warner Cable Arena was the Bobcats losing to the Jazz.
The second half just about to get going here. Pacers trail by 9.
And the Knicks last season did not use their bench very often. Kind of typical of a Mike D'Antoni team. He relies heavily on his starters, and that was the case a year ago.
So with Billups on the bench, here's the 5 for Mike D'Antoni right now. Carmelo Anthony and Amari Stoudemire down low. Roger Mason is out there with Tony Douglas. And it's Walker in at the 3, the small forward. Steve, back to what you were saying about that New York Knicks bench. You know, a big part of that was they were so short-handed. It was hard when they got that trade and trying to, bring Melo up to speed on what they were doing.
No question. I mean, it got them Melo that trade, but it also left a few players tired because they lost some of their bench depth. Could have been why they saw so many late-season injuries as players were maybe a bit worn out. You think about Chauncey Billups going down late. Interesting discussion.
Here's Anthony. Douglas with it. He's picked up by Hill. The 3 from Anthony. That's it. Coming off a nice assist for Douglas. 7 points for Carmelo Anthony.
9 straight points for them off of wide open looks from deep. Something has to change for this deep.
Yeah, they're just giving up too many easy shots out there. They've got to close out harder, get a hand up, make him put it on the floor.
hits the bucket. Posey's got himself on the board with 3 there.
I got to give them credit, guys. They are shooting their way back into the game 3 points at a time.
And you just had that feeling, Steve, that they'd get hot at some point from deep. And here it is.
Douglas kicks to Mason. There's the dish to Walker. Shot clock at 6. Puts up a 3. Mason misses.
Boy, with an open look like that, he is so gifted. Man, you've got to play better defense. Eventually, he's going to make you pay.
Yeah, that right. And he'll do it from three-point land or anywhere on the perimeter, really, because he is a deadly shooter. You've got to do a better job defensively.
In 2005, with the Phoenix Suns, Mike D'Antoni was Coach of the Year. The Knicks brought him in to bring some of that winning formula he had in the desert to the Big Apple, and it finally paid off last year.
The reaction was so quick. Incredible defense.
The shot's good from Douglas.
They just lost him on the break that time defensively. I mean, he slid out to the three-point line and had plenty of room.
Clark, he made the playoffs, and Mike D'Antoni had them playing some good up-tempo ball. Steve, did you like it? Did it fit what they had there? What was your overall feel on what D'Antoni did when he had a full roster?
Well, he had a tough job because the roster changed so dramatically with the Carmelo trade. But I like it. I think the style suits the personnel and vice versa. And I think this has a chance to be a very good team in the NBA this year.
Here's Anthony. He lays it in with a soft touch. Anthony's got 5 points now in the quarter.
Boy, he just seems to score so easily. The game comes very simply to him.
Feeds it to Posey. He kicks it to George. Defended by Douglas. Nice shot by Posey. Posey's got 5 now.
Yeah, we're now starting to see them get some high percentage shots in the paint.
Yeah, that's 5 of their last 6 buckets inside the lane, so they're getting really high percentage looks down there.
Fellas, they are heating up from outside now.
Yeah, of their last 5 hoops, 3 of them have come from long range.
Defended by Douglas. George passes to Hill. No good on the 3.
As a player, you always want to be able to answer back, but he just didn't have it in him that time.
Douglas for 3, and the Knicks hit again from deep.
Guy's been an artist with that three-point shot.
He sure has been, Steve. I mean, the majority of his points have come from out there.
Just 2 seconds between shot clock and game clock. That's good.
Good defense, but you gotta love the finish with the finger roll over the top.
The Knicks leading by 14. Anthony backing him down. Shoots it up. And it's missed off the front rim.
He's not necessarily a strong inside presence, but he needs to polish those chances off.
And here at the end of the third quarter, it's a double-digit ball game. You look at Tony Douglas, he's really been playing well.
Yeah, give him credit. He's been very selective with his shots, and it's paying off for him and his team.
You know, through the first 3 quarters, Steve, he's taken exactly what the defense has given him, and he's not forced anything. I mean, that's poise that is very impressive. That's exactly how you should play the game, in my opinion.
Now let's check in with Doris Burke for our Sprite Spark of the game. Doris?
Guys, today's Sprite Spark, Tony Douglas. He's come off the bench and kept his team rolling with his knack for making big plays. We'll see how he can close this game out, guys.
Thank you, Doris. He sure did stir things up for him.
Well, he was an injection of a different kind of energy out there. Got him going in the right direction and really gave him something the starters weren't able to.
So no problem for New York as they get the win. Some days, Clark, everything goes right for a team, and they just had one of those games.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, these guys played a great all-around basketball game here.
And that'll wrap it up for Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke. This is Kevin Harlan, and thanks for tuning in.
van meg, ez a kibaszott sajtót hülyeség.
You guys were clicking on all cylinders last game and rode that to an easy win, and then tonight it was just the opposite. Why such a major difference from one game to the next?
A fiúk klikken szerint az utolsó játékban könnyű győzelem, és ma este miért a Major különbözik egy játék a másiktól, a következőtől? Az egyes az a mit? Azt nem tudom, csak frusztrált vagyok. Legyen a kettes, nem tudom, az miután a nagy győzelem.
It was just a lack of focus on our part. Coach always tells us after big wins not to let up, but this time I don't think we listened to him. Usually it isn't like this team to get too confident or complacent after a nice win, but for whatever reason, man, we let it get to us this time. That's on us though. It's something we need to address as a team, and believe me, we're going to do just that.
Vagy így, vagy így, vagy így. A fókuszban a mit, ami nagy ezzel. A csapatnak és a tartózkodás a liga szerint nem, ami családnak nem tetszett a szurkolóknak. Az a baj, tökéletesen nem tudok angolul, csak így zsákban most kell, hogy most mit választ. Meg mire bepöcsölni, most mi a opció. Elmenne vele, nem tudom mennyi időben kiderülni is. Mi a... Azt mondja, egy labdalopás kell, feladatként 2 assziszt, vagyis 2 gólpassz, vagy milyen fociból is hasonló törében, meg harmadik minősítésként a C+, ami nem mindig jön össze.
Hello and welcome everyone to the NBA on 2K Sports. This is Kevin Harlan with Clark Kellogg and Steve Kerr. And Doris Burke will be reporting from the sideline. Nice outing for Orlando. They won that game against the Hawks. And their performance, in a word, sensational. Doing everything right on both ends of the floor. You can see the dominance in the box score.
And it was just a fantastic all-around effort from this team offensively. They moved the ball, they shared it, they got good looks.
And the balance team was tremendous.
So let's take a look at the State Farm starting lineup for the Orlando Magic. Jason Richardson and Hedo Turkoglu are at the 2 and 3. Howard is out there with Brandon Bass. And it's Arenas in at the 1. And for the Pacers, Granger, Hansbrough, and Hibbert are in the front court. Ellison is out there with Jones.
Now the Magic made a sweeping change last December as they were able to move Rashard Lewis and Vince Carter, bring in Hedo Turkoglu, Jason Richardson, Gilbert Arenas.
And now Doris Burke has an update from the sidelines.
Guys, I spoke with the head coach of the Pacers. They are going up against arguably the toughest center the NBA has to offer in Dwight Howard. One problem that Howard poses is his ability to send shots away on the defensive end. He told his players to be fearless and not think twice about taking shots, saying, a lot of the D Howard plays is mental. He just has shooters second-guessing. He might have them third-guessing, guys.
Thanks a lot, Doris. That free throw good from George. Steve, back to the Magic. They felt like they needed some changes. And Clark, that trade came, as Steve just said, last December. And it just really didn't click as you look at the body of work.
Yeah, you kind of like the idea of making a shakeup, trying to get it done, trying to get the pieces together to make a run at a championship. It's unfortunate that they just didn't have the right parts, and it sputtered more than it succeeded.
De én előre fel a passzolni akartam, nem lesz kommunikálni.
Rebounded by Arenas.
That's an easy shot there. That's a shot that he should make more often than not.
Nelson kicks to Howard. Now here's Richardson.
Hát ezt kettőt is
This game we saw him score 14.
szólnak.
Jones gets called for the reach. That is his first foul of the game.
First personal foul, team's first.
Here's Richardson. Defended by Jones. 6 to shoot. Arenas is called for charging. That's his first foul. Here we are in November, and let's see how things are going out east in the early season. Look at Orlando. They're sixth best right now, looking to make a move up in the standings. And of course, the Indiana Pacers, way down below.
You know, for the Magic, they've just sort of hung around. I mean, they're not among the elite teams, but they're not that far off the pace either.
No, I think they're satisfied, Clark, with where they are right now because they're in decent position, as they move forward. And this is all about just surviving the marathon in the NBA. Such a long season.
Brandon Bass is checked in for Earl Clark. Jones dishes to George. And the Pacers can't get it to go.
Guys, I'm impressed with Paul George. He was the 10th pick out of Fresno State last year, and Pacers are happy with him. He's athletic. He's got an NBA body. I think he's got a lot of potential. He could become a good player.
It's Richardson on the wing. From past the arc. No good. And Indiana will go the other way with it. A tough loss coming against New York in their last game played.
That's a tough matchup for them because they're not as good a team, but I didn't expect them to be blown out.
Well, the one thing you can try to look at is maybe it'll motivate them to make sure nothing like this happens again.
It's up a 3. Offensive rebound. Another shot. Here's Howard. Kicks it out to Richardson. Now the feed to Bass. Defended by George. Nelson outside. Left side Arenas. Fires the 3. The basket good off the assist from Nelson. 7 points for Gilbert Arenas. Well, Clark, here's a player you know a little bit about. Paul George of the Pacers, second-year player, smooth game, nice-looking jump shot. He can slash as a lot of these guys can. Doesn't seem to be a bad defender either.
Well, I think he's got the potential to be a really outstanding player at both ends of the floor. I think he's got stardom in his future. Tremendous athlete, does things easily from an athletic standpoint. Last season, just messing around after practice, he jumped over the 7'2" Roy Hibbert for a dunk. He's got great potential.
They get the rebound. Bass's shot, good. Bass has got his first 2 points of the night.
And that's a nice job on the boards to allow them a second high-quality look.
Feeds it to Granger. They get off the blocks.
I like it. I mean, he dropped a dime on him right there, guys.
Here's Arenas. Connects on the open J. Arenas has got 9.
What an offensive display he's putting on.
And at this point, Steve, you got to put more pressure on him. Bring help and make him move the ball.
Nelson against Collison. The dish to George. Back to Collison. Granger, a screen on Nelson.
At the line for the Pacers, Derek Morrison, taking 2 shots.
Döntetlen. Az első múlva.
That free throw good from Collison. Both teams will make substitutions.
12-nél szimulál. 36, 28. Nem hátrányban vagyunk.
And we've reached halftime in this one. Magic out in front. They're up by 7.
Hope you're having a great evening. It's time. The Clippers grab the win against the Rockets.
Éppen, mert mindig csak a menüt hozza be.
Rockets in Houston.
And now the third quarter has to get going.
Szimuláció. 4 perc. Volt, 2 asszisztom volt. 46-36, 10 pontos átlaggal előtt. Nem mennek rámutól szerint rámutazni. De én előre fel akartam passzolni, nem ki oda arra, azt a én tudom.
And here's George. Now Rush. He dishes it to George. Beyond the arc. And the shot is good. George has got his third basket of the night.
You cannot back that far off of a guy. I mean, I don't care who he is. These guys are pros. They all can shoot. D.I.
Claxton, he's in a point guard. Paul George is out there with Rush. Then there's James Posey. And it's Hill in at the shooting guard. That's the Pacers 5. Rockets 6. Good. Duhan's got his first bucket in this one.
And they got exactly what they wanted against that defense.
You know, for the Pacers last season, it was encouraging for them to make the playoffs, but it can't obscure the hard work that's still left ahead. I mean, they only won 37 games in the regular season. They would have needed 9 or 10 more wins to make the playoffs in the West. So they've still got a ways to go.
Now, here's Nelson. Deep right on him. Reddick with the three. And the rebound goes to the Pacers. Like you mentioned, the 37 wins, that was 25 less than the Chicago Bulls team they faced in the first round.
Sure was, yeah.
Steve?
But even with that said, Kevin, it was a very competitive series. It went 5 games, but every single game went down in the stretch.
Rush the pass to George. Let's go. And there are the Pacers with another bucket. Here is Nelson. And there's a minute 45 left here in the third quarter. He kicks to Red. The trade. It's hauled in by George.
He certainly didn't take advantage of the poor defense, but they can't count on him to continue missing.
No, that's for sure, because this guy's too good of a shooter to miss that look consistently. Nice soft touch to drop that one in.
Swiped away. Even numbers. It's the lead pass. Nice shot by Posey.
Great assist.
Here's Clark. The pass to Duhan. Kicks it to Anderson. Posey covering. Just 5 on the clock. This is to Nelson. Over Rush. And Nelson gets it to go. Nelson's got 6.
Not a whole lot that they're doing right defensively at this stage after playing a pretty solid first half.
He passes to Posey. From outside the arc. Gets it to go. He's got 5.
Well, you knew the run would come, and here it is. They're playing well now, trying to get back in this thing.
Yeah, pretty good comeback effort here. Rolling along nicely, and they've got themselves within striking distance now.
And now the first timeout called here for the Magic.
You know, the Magic trying some different techniques last year. One was a shadowing drill that helped.
Féltáltott játéknak két asszisztensban, mezőny dolgok 50%-ig. 83-74 lehet, és pedig mit tudom én,
and so it's Orlando winning this one. It was a solid win, Clark.
Yeah, it was, and I think it came down to will more than skill. They went out and got this one.
That'll do it for now. For Doris Burke, Steve Kerr, and Clark Kellogg, and the rest of the 2K Sports crew, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for joining us.
harmadik feladatom, nem tudom, mi az. Megint az is mindig az.
This game was certainly not your best effort, and even worse, the team lost. At any point, did you ever consider staying on the bench longer to help out the team?
Megint valami a játék nem a legjobb minden, igen, a csapat vesztett pontokat, igen, kezdett milyen hosszú segítséget kisegítse a csapatot. Never, soha. And always, az a legjobb opció. Beszélni kell az edzővel. Nice. Legyen a 2-es.
Did coach tell you that? We were talking about it. I just never felt like my game was clicking, and I didn't want to be out there if I wasn't helping the team. My number one goal is to do whatever it takes to make this team great. And if that means sitting on a bench because my play isn't cutting it, then so be it. It didn't end up coming to that tonight, but I'm prepared to do whatever coach thinks is best, man. I know that next game I'll be better, though. It'd be hard not to be. You feel me?
Csapat morálnak jó, de többé megint lehet vele mínuszba. Azt nem mindenségét. Nyolc meccset teljesítettem, még 5 van hátra. És D+-os vagyunk. Hát az... Ilyen is. 2-es osztályzat. Azt mondja, rekord, megint egy labdalopás, egyik feladat, másik, megint a limited egy meccsen legyen 2 assziszt, vagy 2 passz. Fejezd be a meccset, megint még mindig C+-os minősítésben, de sose jön össze C+-osra.
We're at the home of the Hawks, a fortress of basketball, Phillips Arena here in downtown Atlanta. Well, was the Indiana Pacers in the last game a loss to Orlando?
Well, almost impossible to win when you shoot the ball that poorly. You look at the numbers, it's no mystery why they lost this game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, in terms of setting screens, spreading the floor, finding high-quality shots, they failed a lot in those areas. And when you do that, you're not going to make shots.
Let's check out Indiana's starting lineup. Granger, Hansbrough, and Hibbert are the front court. Collison is out there with Jones. And for the Hawks, Josh Powell is out there with Horford. Then there's Johnson. Then there's Damian Wilkins. And it's Teague in at the 1 spot.
Well, Atlanta was a playoff team a year ago, and they won their share of games. But they didn't appear to be a contender. And despite all the talent that they've had the last few years...
Mondja, hát országtól vezetnek hazajön.
All right, let's go over to the sideline with Doris Burke.
Guys, I spoke with the head coach of the Pacers. It was their interior defense that he thought would be a key factor. He said, my guys have the length and the instincts to block more than their fair of shots if the ball comes inside against us. It's got to be nice for your coach to have that kind of faith in you guys.
Thanks, Doris. So Clark and Steve, defense, it looks like, coming first for them today.
And while you don't really want to put all of your cookies in one jar. I mean, I think emphasis on defense is the way to go.
Yeah, I'd agree, because if you come out and establish the defense right away, it kind of sets the tone, and you really kind of take control of that game emotionally.
And it's the Hawks with the ball, following the score by Indiana. Steve, that remark you had about Atlanta, they kind of backed into the playoffs, but Clark, they woke up when they got there.
They did. I mean, it seemed like they were sleepwalking through the regular season, inconsistent and not being able to put together any kind of strong winning streaks. But when the playoffs came around, they showed you what we thought we were going to see during the regular season.
Yeah, you're right.
Showing okay. No. Yes.
Here's Crawford. 12 points his last outing. He kicks it to T. He's picked up by Hill. T kicks to Johnson. From outside the arc, the Hawks again can't hit.
And guys, I'm impressed with Paul George. He was the 10th pick out of Fresno State last year, and Pacers are happy with him. He's athletic, he's got an NBA body. I think he's got a lot of potential. He could become a good player.
Joe Johnson on the wing. Over Granger. Atlanta again missing. Well, Clark, here's a player you know a little bit about. Paul George of the Pacers, second-year player, smooth game, nice-looking jump shot. He can slash as a lot of these guys can. Doesn't seem to be a bad defender either.
Well, I think he's got the potential to be a really outstanding player both ends of the floor. I think he's got stardom in his future. Tremendous athlete, does things easily from an athletic standpoint. Last season, just messing around after practice, he jumped over the 7'2" Roy Hibbert for a dunk. He's got great potential.
Pacers leading by 3. And it's Horford picking him up. A nice shot by George. Here's Teague. 17 points for him last game against the Magic in Orlando. And now the first timeout called here for the Hawks. This game against Indiana, the first time they've met this year.
Yeah, I think they're a little better than this ball club. And it showed last year winning the season series.
Here we are in November, and let's see how things are going out east in the early season. You look at the Hawks. They're right now in the 8th spot in the conference here in the early part of the season. And, of course, the Indiana Pacers, 3 games behind.
Well, for Indiana,
here's Collins. Steve just mentioned how they won the season series a year ago. That was the way it went against most teams they faced.
True. They were a very hard team to get the best of, Kevin.
So with Johnson sitting on the bench, here's the group that Larry Drew has on the floor. We've got Sy. Jason Collins is out there with Smith. Then there's Pachulia. And it's Wilkins in at the 2 spot. Looking to end the run. Atlanta again missing.
Well, the Pacers have a reputation of being an up-tempo run-and-gun team, but last season they were just in the middle of the pack in fast break points. They were really more of a defensive club than anything.
Smith gets the whistle for blocking. That's his first foul.
I think he made the right call there. It's always a bang-bang play, but I don't think the defense had position.
You know, blocking fouls are never easy to whistle, but that one definitely looked like a block to me.
Here's Collison. Posey with it. Goes straight up. Collison, no good. Steve, let me go back to the Pacers and give you a number. Touchdown their defense. You did. Ranked 12th best in the league last season. Clark, that's a good place to build.
That's a nice place to build and a really nice improvement from the prior year. I like Granger as a two-way player. He's pretty good defensively when he's locked in. Collison is quick and can be a factor pressuring the ball. And the big guy, Roy Hibbert, made the greatest strides, being able to defend the paint without foul.
Pacers leading by 3. He passes to Posey for the 3. No good.
You know, as tight as this game is, you have to like their chances the way they've been rebounding.
They have a pretty good margin in that department, so they've got to continue to hit the boards hard. It'll pay off for them in the end.
Collins passes to Smith. 6 on the shot clock. Wilkins with a screen on Collison. with the clock winding down. They get it back. Tries again. Wilkins goes up and lays it nice and easy. Now just a 1-point Pacer lead. Here's Claxton. And the Pacers can't get it to go. Here is Zavar. Screen by Smith. And the call is going to be, yes, it is, an illegal screen.
Well, we'll see what happens here. You got to be aware that you're...
Ami történt?
And the first half is now in the books. We'll be back momentarily.
It's a Wednesday night edition of the HB. At Quicken Loans Arena, it's the cap.
And as we return here in the Peach State of Georgia, welcome to downtown Atlanta. Gorgeous view high atop the city of Atlanta, and a look outside at Phillips Arena. Knocked loose.
And you know, despite the number of turnovers, Kevin, they've still got the lead here.
Well, eventually, guys, you know, those mistakes will come back and haunt you, so they've got to do a better job of taking care of that.
On the court for Indiana. Claxton, he's in at the point. Rush out there with Paul George. Then it's George Hill, and it's McRoberts in at the center. Fires from deep. The shot by George, no good.
You know, after the disappointing end to their 2010 playoff push, the Hawks decided to make a change at the head coaching position and went with Larry Drew at the helm. You know, Kevin, it doesn't matter that he's one of the slower guys on the floor, especially when he gets that wide lane to the rim.
They're moving the ball. Now Rush. And here's George. Shoots a fader, and they'll turn over. Could not get off a shot. 24-second violation. And here's what's upcoming now for the Hawks. They've got the Pistons ahead of them in their next game in Detroit. That'll be just one game played away from home for them. Here's Crawford. The feed to side. Now here's Crawford. And there's the whistle. Fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line. That card back to Drew. They had Mike Woodson. He took him to the playoffs, but Larry Drew takes his place. Drew was on his staff. It was scrutinized early, but, you know, Steve, he took him back into the playoffs and deep into the playoffs.
Well, and that was their goal. They wanted to get back to winning a series in the postseason. And Drew was able to do that. They beat Orlando in the first round, and then they gave Chicago all they could handle in round two. Jamal Crawford was the NBA's sixth man of the year 2 seasons ago, but last season his shooting percentages really dropped out across the board. He just wasn't able to have that consistent year again.
Catching up on the changes now for Indiana. Roy Hibbert's checked in for Josh McRoberts. Hansbrough comes in for Brandon Rush. And it's Jones in for George Hill. That one falls, so he hits both of them. And Crawford really pushed Steve for a contract extension, you may recall, prior to last season and was unhappy that he didn't get one. So, Clark, I'll pose this to you. Do you think that he might have played a role, without that contract in his struggles?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's hard to separate that when you're a player and you're desiring a certain level of security. And when that doesn't happen, it can subconsciously weigh on it and affect how you go about your work. So I think that's very, very possible that happens.
Hibber with it. Here's George. And once again off the mark by Indiana.
And they have a huge advantage on the boards.
Well, it's been one-sided so far, both on the rebounding side and the scoreboard.
Joe Johnson on the win. All alone in Atlanta again with the bucket. Pacers trail by 17. Hansbrough inside.
Nem jutottak odáig a passz.
8-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. He dishes it to Powell. Baseline drive. 8 points for him.
Boy, he set him up nicely with that pass.
Boy, I love the ball movement, guys. That's 3 of their last 5 shots coming off of assists.
Shot to stop the run, and he finishes on the layup.
The defense left him just a little window to get through, and he just ducked in for the layup. Terrific job.
Shot from the top of the key. The Pacers pull it in. Hansbrough's got 6 rebounds in the game. Gets it off. Unbelievable shot at the buzzer.
Boy, this guy just as calm as can be. Even with the clock ticking down to 0, no pressure.
Gotta love the composure. He just didn't seem rushed at all. He just took his time and knocked it down.
And here at the end.
Négy ponton vannak, ez egy 2 pontos volt.
So as we get rolling here in the fourth, let's go to our sideline reporter, Doris Burke, for the Sprite Spark Report. Doris?
Well, guys, it was the stretch by the Hawks that garners the Sprite Spark today. They've been in total control here and keep finding ways to move the ball, spread the floor, and continue to put points on the board as they widen the gap.
Okay, Doris, thank you. And that run, Clark, really changed the complexion of this game.
Yeah, it sure did. I thought it stirred something up in them that got them on a good run.
Yeah, got the ball rolling for them, and they were able to keep it going from there, guys.
So Johnson sitting on the bench. Here's the group that Larry Drew has on the floor. They've got Horford. Damian Wilkins out there with Teague. It's Josh Powell. And it's Smith in at the small forward position. Rips down the breakaway slam.
Really got him there. Someone's going to finish it. Easy, fast break.
Yeah, you know what? And I think they made the right call there, Steve.
Dishes to Jones.
Ez 50-esnek akartak passzolni.
Ranger outside.
Előre felemények. Szívemtől passzolni.
Now the dish to Hibbert. Working on Horford. Shot clock at 6. And it's Hibbert missing.
And not really the guy you want taking that shot there.
Teague dishes to Smith. Pass it to Horford.
Hol van a labda?
It's stolen by Jones.
You know, they're lucky to be leading here as much as we've seen a rather loose control of the basketball here.
And fellas, that's something they have to address. I mean, double-digit turnovers in just the first half, that's unacceptable. And I'll tell you what, after that great 2010 campaign for Dante Jones, everything seemed to go wrong last year. He really had to fight for his time on the floor and never really developed into that full-time rotational player for his club.
The Pacers making a switch here. Posey's checked in. The and one is good, so a 3-point play that time. You know, thinking about Dante Jones, Clark, a coaching change and some other upheaval really didn't help him either.
No, it didn't, but you know what? Late in the season, he actually found his way back in the rotation. But it's always difficult when you're in transition as a team, particularly when you've got coaching changes and some personnel changes as well.
Claxton gets the reach-in call. That's his first foul.
Nem, megint a felbontásokról tisztelem.
Here's Crawford. Here is Cy. 6 to shoot. From deep three-point range, Crawford's shot is good. And the Hawks lead by 17. Feeds it to Hibbert.
Nem, doktorról lett volna egy asszisztem, de az
Clock at 6. Deflected. Tries to save it. Out of bounds. And they'll keep possession. And a chance now to check out the schedule for Indiana. They'll be playing host to Portland for their next game. That game is the first and last of their homestand. Pacers trail by 17. And there's the shot clock violation. Couldn't get the shot off in time. Here is Cy. Here's Armstrong, and he takes the feed in stride and slams it home.
You know what? That's what you like to see. A perfect pass leading him right into the shot. Didn't even have to break stride.
Timeout called the Pacers.
Well, you really have to say the Pacers took a step forward last season. I mean, they did improve their road record by 4 wins up to 13-28 compared to the season before.
Both teams deciding to change it up. Here's Ford. Clark, you talk about 13-28 road record for the Pacers, tied for the 9th worst in the league. I hate to bring that up since we did the games. Steve, not what I would expect from, though, a playoff team.
Well, they struggled on the road offensively, Kevin. They averaged about 7 more points at home than they did on the road. But I was impressed with what they did late in the season under Frank Vogel. And if they can carry some of that momentum into this year, I think the Pacers can be much improved.
And it's Hibbert missing. The Hawks leading by 21. Now Crawford. He feeds it to Powell. And here is Horford. 6 to shoot. Ford against Crawford. Claxton is tagged with the reach. That'll be his second foul of the game.
Well, you look at all these top-level teams in the NBA, and boy, I really enjoyed last year's playoffs. It was such an open-field competitive action. You really felt that there were a number of teams with a chance to make a deep run.
Danny Granger, he's checked in for TJ Ford. Claxton is whistled for reaching in, and that'll be his third foul so far.
That's his third person, the team's third.
Here's Crawford. The pass to Thomas. Just 5 to shoot. For 3. Crawford, no luck. In last year's playoffs, so entertaining, Clark. Some competitive series. Steve, really an open field.
Yeah, it really is. And so many good young teams in the NBA right now, and some of the older, more talented teams maybe on the way downhill. So this is going to be fascinating the next few years to see which teams can break through and get to that top level.
Picked up by Carlson. Crawford's shot is good. Crawford's got 5 points now this quarter.
And this one's pretty much wrapped up.
And they know it. I mean, took care of business. Chalk it up as a W, Steve.
Timeout called the Pacers. They're trailing by 20. 125 left in the fourth.
Well, you look at Atlanta's team makeup last year, and it was similar to previous seasons. Very talented front court, some strong wing players, but nobody really running the show. And that was one of the reasons they traded for Kirk Heinrich at midseason.
125 left in the game. Hansborough inside.
Got just enough of him on the way out to draw that whistle.
I thought that was a good call, Steve. I mean, you could see how that affected his shot just a little bit.
First one falls for.
Some great free throw shooting so far in this second half.
I think they should keep trying to initiate contact and get back to the line until they start missing from there. But as it is, they're perfect so far, so keep it up.
That one is no good.
They can't afford too many missed free throws, Cam. They need every point they can get.
But we're seeing more and more undersized power forwards who are proving that they can contribute in the NBA.
Yeah, you know, the list is fairly long. DeJuan Blair, Chuck Hayes, Paul Millsap, Glenn Davis, Craig Smith, Brandon Bass. It all points to tenacity is sometimes as important as size.
Some riders in that group, huh?
Yeah, wide bodies.
Here's Crawford. He couldn't stay in bounds, and that's going to be a turnover.
You know, something distracted him. The guy just kind of profiled right out of bounds.
Al Horford is checked in for Atlanta. And 101 left here in the fourth quarter. And why do you think it's that power forward 6'8" and under are starting Clark to make their mark now?
Well, I think with the floor spaced out, the way teams like to play transition basketball and shoot the three, pick and roll action, and a lot of times those wide bodies have wingspans that allow them to play taller.
Good points.
They could have used this run a while ago. It may not make much difference now.
Yeah, they hit that snooze button a little too much because they showed up late to this game.
Thomas kicks to Crawford. Backing him down, Thomas. Hibbert pulls it in.
Tell you what, it seems like all it takes is just a little bit of defense for him to be tentative on those layup attempts.
Stolen. This has been a one-sided affair.
Man, they've done a really nice job of extending their lead, Kevin.
Horford the pass to Crawford. And so it's the Hawks taking care of business in this one. How much to be critical of with this win, Clark?
Not at all. I mean, they showed up not just to play, they showed up to give great effort and to win, and they did both.
So that'll do it for now. For Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan. Thanks for joining us for this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports. We'll see you next time.
Egyfelől teljesítve, a másik. Megkezdtem a skill pontokat, megint a hülye sajtóhülyeség.
Well, you guys had a great shooting night, but somehow weren't the better team. What happened out there that prevented you from getting a win?
A fiúk nagyszerűen van az este, de valahol a csapat igen. Viking... Ez baj, de zsákból macskán most, hogy melyiket kell választani. Nem vagyok tisztában, hogy mit kérdés. Most legyen a 3-as.
Bad luck, I guess. I mean, when you're shooting that well, you're going to win the game most of the time. And that's regardless of any other factors like free throw disparity or rebounding advantage or whatever. But somehow we still came out on the wrong end of the score. That tells me that there's really nothing we could have done. The game just wasn't meant for us to win from the beginning. Maybe I need to start being a little more superstitious or something to get luck back on our side. Man, who knows, man?
Hát a szurkolóknak nem tetszik a válasz, de... Még 5 meccs van hátra, vagy mi ez a trigger? 11. nap idegenben. A feladat megint a fall, az egy hiba, nem? 3 pontot kell szerezni a meccsen. Ha sose jön össze, hogy szép 20-as minősítés.
Hello and welcome everyone to the NBA on 2K Sports. This is Kevin Harlan with Clark Kellogg and Steve Kerr. And Doris Burke will be reporting from the sideline. Pacers trying to take advantage of their home court in this one before leaving Indiana. In this game, the first chance they've had to see Portland. Home court advantage played a part in last year's season series. Each team took their home game in a 1-1 split.
Yeah, and you look back to last year, these two teams were very evenly matched. They split the 2 games that they play.
The starters for the Portland Trail Blazers. Aldridge at the 4 and Oden at the 5. Felton is out there with Brandon Roy. And it's Wallace in at small forward. And for the Pacers, Granger, Hansbrough, and Hibbert are the front court. Jones is out there with Collison. Going back for a second to your comment, Steve, in the standoff these teams played to last year, it may have been an indicator of how closely matched the teams in the middle of both conferences were.
Well, we know these 2 teams were certainly closely matched.
It's a similar
Let's find out what Doris Burke has for us.
Guys, I spoke with the head coach of the Pacers. When I asked him where they might have an advantage today, he said, we've got the shot blockers to make things very hard on them when they bring it into the paint. And that's what we plan to do. Gentlemen?
Terrific, Doris. Thanks. Clark, what's your take on that?
I like the mindset they're coming in right now. I think it's the right mindset. A strong defensive effort from them today. I mean, I think it's essential.
Steve?
Well, no question. If they can have success defensively, they're going to create some offensive opportunities for themselves in transition.
Well, you take a look at LaMarcus Aldridge at the offensive end, guys, and a versatile scorer in the paint, the jump hook, the jumper, can score with either hand. Oh, he's tough to deal with.
First one falls for him. Well, the thing about Aldridge, Steve, with his length and his soft touch, he can get his shot wherever and whenever he wants.
Yeah, he sure can. And, I think the biggest thing for Aldridge is he's now made that next step offensively. Now it's up to him to improve his defense. Because if he can be a more consistent defender down on the block for Portland, and now you're talking about an all-star, a complete player.
You know, as we look at the Blazers, check them out. I mean, a small market team, tremendous fan support. They're the only game in town as far as a major sports team is concerned, and their ownership has not been shy or bashful about trying to spend and being willing to spend to make them a contender.
Inside. No block shot. Out to Wallace for 3. Clark, as you said, going back to the Blazers, a small market team, big city pocketbooks. And Steve, now also a pretty new front office. They're going to another general manager this year.
Yeah, and despite the change, Portland's front office continues to be innovative and aggressive and making moves to try to improve this team. We know they've got plenty of money with Paul Allen at the helm. But can they put forth a consistent plan, and can they stay healthy with the players on their roster? Those are the questions I have.
Aldridge. Again, the miss by the Trailblazers. Indiana leading. They're coming into this game off that recent loss to Atlanta.
I thought they forced a lot of shots offensively, guys. They just didn't seem organized or efficient at that end of the floor. That's why they got so stagnant and shot such a poor percentage.
Couldn't agree more. Disorganized would be a word. Dysfunctional. I mean, way too many times they're going one-on-one or running the shot clock all the way down and then having to jack some crazy shot up. That was the problem, just not organized.
And here's Felton from the arc. Offensive rebound. Goes back up. Aldridge, no luck. Pacers leading by 4. Some firepower, Clark and Steve, from this offense.
Yeah, Kevin, how about the air confidence? I mean, they really look like they believe in what they're doing.
Yeah, a little swagger here from this team. They're in a nice groove.
Carving them up inside there, Kevin. I mean, the defense has been vulnerable in there.
Yeah, that's 3 straight field goals in the paint area. That's really good offense.
Batum for 3. Can they get it? Goes back up. Getting deep. Aldridge drops it in.
Second chance is such a huge part of his game. He's really good on the offensive glass.
Aldridge against Granger. Granger left side. Over Aldridge. Granger misses.
You know, guys, people talk about jumping ability, but positioning so important. And you can out-rebound much bigger guys when you get inside position.
Now, here's Batum, looking for his first bucket of the game. Felton can't get it to go. Clock management. This is where, Steve, they can get a 2 for 1.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. As long as the first one's a good one, and now you play D, you get the ball back, one more shot.
And Matthews gets it to go. 29 seconds left to play here in the first. Pass to Jones. Now George. Clock at 6. Marked down low that time, and he got the 3 seconds. Here we are in November, and let's see how things are going out east in the early season. Look at Milwaukee. Long way to go still in the season, but even so, they've got the top spot. And, of course, the Pacers, 6 games out. Clock runs out, and we're heading to halftime. Don't go away. Back in just a moment.
Good evening and welcome to the In Philadelphia, the 76ers.
Welcome back, everyone, to the start of the second half. Big margin on our hands, but we'll see if that gap narrows down in the third and fourth quarters. Here's Batum. He dishes it to Mills. Outside, Batum. Bennett dishes to Mills. Outside, Matthews. Plenty of daylight on that shot. Matthews has got his second bucket of the night. Pacers trail by 10.
You know, I think it was really exciting for this Pacers team getting into the postseason last year for the first time in 5 years, guys. I mean, the youth helped as we saw the passion come out in that Game 4 win against the Bulls. And I thought they competed very well in that series and have some promise going forward.
So with Roy on the bench, here's who's on the floor for Nate McMillan. Batum is out there with Luke Bennett. And it's Camby, and it's Matthews, and it's Mills in at the 1. Beyond the arc. No good. And Indiana will go the other way with it. Clark, I agree with you. It brought the Pacers making it into the postseason. They were the 8th seed, but really did a good job against a very talented Chicago team, Steve.
Yeah, very tough opponents. Anytime you're going up in that first round against a team like the Bulls as an 8th seed, you get to see what a team like that's made of. And I think that young Pacers squad really accounted for itself in a good way in that playoff run. We'll see if they can take advantage and really have a good season this year.
No good on the free throw.
Well, the Pacers historically have always been tough on their home court, and last season was no different. 24-17 in Indianapolis. One of the reasons the Pacers made the playoffs.
Catching up on the changes now for Indiana. Roy Hibbert's checked in for Posey. Hansbrough comes in for Brandon Rush. And it's Jones in for George Hill. And he misses the second one as well, so he is 0 for 2 that time. Well, Clark, you know all about this Indiana team being in their front office, dead last in attendance last season, averaging just a little over 13,000 fans, but the team gave the diehard fans something to care about with the playoff experience.
Yeah, they certainly did, and hopefully that...
And now, here's the Sprite Slam Cam replay.
Now that's just rubbing it in, fellas.
Throwing it down with style.
These folks are not going to forget that one anytime soon.
Trailblazers leading by 6. Outside, Felton. Batum against George. Unloaded from 9. Gets it to go.
I'm megint mentünk 2-ből.
1:36 left in the third.
You know, Raymond Felton the last 2 seasons has really improved his shooting nicely. I mean, both from the outside and finishing around the basket. He can penetrate, so that all helps.
So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up, and 2 shots coming up. And for Felton, at the same time he improved his shooting, Stevie also upped his assists to a career high of over 8 a game.
Now, the all-around improvement for Felton was really impressive. And, you know, he was the 5th overall pick back in 2005 by Charlotte. And I thought once he went to New York, he really started to pick up his game, and then the trade to Denver, of course. So he's become an accomplished point guard in this league.
I'll tell you what, we've talked about it a number of times, but the issue for the Blazers the last few seasons has been that of health. I mean, the injuries. They've been seriously hamstrung by significant injuries to their star players. Fortunately, they have a deep team, but they sure have needed it.
That one falls, so he hits both of them. Hey, look at the Blazers, Clark. Last season, LaMarcus Aldridge emerged as an all-star caliber player and a leader, yeah. You know, but still, Steve, a first-round exit. What do they have to do to take the next step?
Well, I think the key, Kevin, is what happens with Brandon Roy. Is he going to return to form as an all-star player, or will the injuries continue to bother him? I think also Portland needs to improve its outside shooting. They can use another front-court player. But we'll see what happens, but this is a very strong organization, a lot of great history.
Gets it to go. 10 points for him.
And I think defensively, you've got to commit a second defender because he's just destroying you right now.
Yeah, one-on-one. He's got a handful.
I'm watching the line there. That'll be a backcourt violation. Both teams will make...
Na, akkor állunk be, amikor döntetlenre áll az a utolsó.
We've got 1:28 left in the fourth. Aldridge backing in. He goes up, and that comes off the assist by Raymond Felton. 14 points for Aldridge. Timeout call of the Pacers. They're behind by 2. A minute 20 left in the fourth quarter of this one. And let's get this update now from Doris Burke, who's across the way on the sideline.
Kevin, the head coach for the Pacers had some instructions for his guys during that break. He said to them, show me you want it more than they do. I need your best effort from here till the final buzzer. The W is there. You guys just go get it.
Doubled by Felton. He's covered by Roy. And that one's good. We're all tied up at 59.
Solid advantage in the rebounding totals for them so far here.
You know, in every game, but particularly in a close game, every little advantage you can use helps, and they're certainly enjoying one on the glass here.
Granger, Hansbrough, and Hibbert are the front court. And there's Collison. That's the Pacers' 5. And Indiana has possession. It's a 3-point game. And Aldridge comes over to help. Pushes up. Nails it. And what a sensational bucket to put them within 1.
Came through there with a key basket.
Yeah, that was huge. Stepping up when it matters most.
Now, here's Felton. The dish to Aldridge. 6 on the shot clock. The Trailblazers need to get off a shot. Terry Collison pulls it in. Crucial possession with time ticking down.
Boy, they like to put themselves in front right here.
Ne húzd azért egy
Here's Claxton and blocked.
Ah,
But
look
they get it
back.
back. And
Nothing
it's
else.
missing. They foul intentionally. That's what they have to do at this point.
A good foul. You got to stop the clock in this situation.
Exactly, Steve. I mean, the clock is their biggest ally right now. They need as much time as they can.
It's the first. That'll put them up by 2. Gets them both, and it's a 3-point ball game.
Big free throws, Kevin. Now they'll need a 3 to just stay alive.
And the Pacers call a time here. They trail by 3. 1 second left to play here in the fourth. Guys are butts.
They need a 3 here, so they need to make sure they sub in all of their best shooters, because with under 2 seconds remaining, you have to catch and shoot it quickly.
Remember that?
Here's Collison. Oh, he couldn't make that shot go to force overtime. And so the big win by Portland in a tight game. Clark, it was anybody's game right to the very end.
Yeah, it was. The coach is happy with the outcome, but maybe not so much with the margin.
So that'll do it for now. For Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan. Thanks for joining us for this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports. We'll see you next time.
Megint a lutri.
You guys missed a ton of free throws out there tonight. How much of a difference do you think that made in the ultimate outcome of this one?
A fiúknak hiányzott az áramdobó, pontos dobás ma este. Miben különbözött a Ultimate this one? Ez az egy... Hát ez egy nagy különbség. Hatalmas különbség. Az elit csapatok nem csak rossz. Legyen a szó közül.
It makes a big difference, man. Sometimes it seems like when you start missing a couple free throws here and there, it gets contagious. We can't afford to give up free opportunities like that. It can really start to affect your confidence too, which goes beyond how you're shooting from the line. Coach is going to make sure we remember that next practice. I don't expect to get out of there without everyone spending a lot of time at the line, man.
Na. Már megint nem találtunk bele a dologba. Csapattal stagnál a viszonyunk, de a liga és a szurkolók személyében nem voltunk. Tíz nap. Átlagosan 8 percet játszak, vagy mi?